Welcome to the IT free training video on how to configure forwarding and conditional forwarding on Windows Server. By the end of this video, you will be able to configure Windows DNS to forward DNS queries to your ISP's DNS server and use conditional forwarding to forward DNS queries that the ISP's DNS server cannot resolve to a DNS server that can. In order to do this, I will change to my computer running Windows 8 and which has remote management tools installed. First of all, I will open a command prompt by opening Charms, selecting Search, and then select the command prompt icon. Once the command prompt is open, I will attempt to ping the domain controller high-cost DC1. This will fail as the DNS server will not know how to resolve DNS queries for this domain. The DNS server for this domain is configured currently to resolve requests by contacting the root hint servers. To make DNS queries more efficient, as shown, I will change the configuration of the DNS server to instead forward DNS queries to the ISP's DNS servers. Since the ISP's DNS server resolves a lot of DNS queries, there is a chance the DNS query that is attempting to be resolved may have already been resolved and is still in the DNS cache on the ISP's DNS server. In order to make the change, I will open Server Manager from the Quick Launch bar, and then from the Tools menu select DNS. To change any settings for the server, right-click the server and select Properties. Next, I need to select the tab Forwarders and press the button Edit. It is just a matter of entering in the IP addresses of the ISP's DNS servers. Your local ISP should have at least 2 DNS servers for redundancy. Some ISPs will have more. Windows will attempt to contact these DNS servers after they are entered, and you should get an OK under the Validated column. If this does not happen, check that you have entered in the correct DNS servers and you do not have a firewall blocking the connection. Now that the forwarders have been configured, I will go back to my command prompt and attempt to ping high-cost DC1 once again. As you can see, the request has failed again. As you can see, the setup is that IT free training and high-cost training are both forwarding their DNS requests to an external DNS server. Since high-cost training ends in .local, this address cannot be registered on the Internet, and thus no Internet DNS server will ever be able to resolve it. To get around this, conditional forwarding needs to be set up like this to forward all DNS queries for high-cost training to the high-cost training DNS server, and all other DNS queries to the ISP DNS. To do this, I will go back to DNS Manager and go down to the container Conditional Forwarders. To create a new conditional forwarder, right-click the container and select New Conditional Forwarder. At the top, I need to enter in the DNS name that I want to forward. In this case, the DNS domain will be highcosttraining.local. Under this, I need to enter in the DNS server or servers that can resolve queries for this domain. Notice that DNS Manager will attempt to resolve the address. Remember that the DNS query will be sent to the local ISP DNS server, so the request will not be able to be resolved, so this error can be ignored. At the bottom is the tick box, Store this conditional forwarder in Active Directory and replicate it as follows. This will store this forwarding rule in Active Directory and thus will be used by other DNS servers in the domain that are installed on domain controllers. Notice that when this option is ticked, I can also select which DNS servers this rule will be forwarded to. By default, this conditional forwarder will be used by all DNS servers in the forest. I can also select to use this only in the domain, or the last option, to use an option that is compatible with Windows Server 2000. In this case, I will leave it on the default setting of the forest and press OK. Now that the conditional forwarding is configured, I will go back to the command prompt and try to ping high-cost DC1. You will notice that Windows will not be able to resolve the DNS name. This is a problem that you may often have when troubleshooting DNS problems. In this case, the DNS request is cached in the local cache that it is not resolvable. In order to resolve, I need to first clear the cache. To do this, run the command ipconfig/flushdns. Once the DNS cache has been cleared, notice that when I run the command again, this time the IP address of the high-cost domain controller can be resolved. You can see that by using a combination of forwarding and conditional forwarding, you can achieve a good result on your network. Thanks for watching this video from IT Free Training. I hope you found this video informative. For the latest free videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks, and see you next time.